They say money talks, but real wealth whispers. Right now, at this very second, as you sit there watching this screen, there is a parallel financial universe spinning just out of reach of the IRS, the FBI, and every global regulator you've ever heard of. Most people spend their entire lives following the breadcrumbs. We are taught to look at the Forbes 400 list as the ultimate scoreboard of success. We see the faces of tech giants, retail moguls, and famous heirs. But what if I told you that the names on that list are merely the visible elite? There is a tier above them, a shadow class of individuals who have mastered the art of financial invisibility. They don't own yachts in their own names. They own offshore entities that own holding companies that lease those yachts back to them for a symbolic $1 a year. They don't have bank accounts in the way you and I do. They have ghost portfolios. In the next 20 minutes, we are going to peel back the layers of this invisible world. We're going to look at the South Dakota Trust loophole, the secret ledgers hidden in plain sight, and why the most powerful people on the planet are often the ones you've never seen on a magazine cover. If you think you understand how global finance works, if you think you know where the world's capital actually lives, prepare to be proven completely wrong. Because in the world of the ultra-rich, if they can see you, they can tax you. And if they can tax you, they can control you. To the elite, privacy isn't a right, it's the ultimate weapon of war. Why would someone go to such lengths to hide $1 billion? In the modern age, especially in 2026, visibility is a massive liability. When your name is attached to a fortune, you aren't just a person, you're a target for litigation, a target for shifting political winds, and a target for public outrage. For the old money dynasties, the families that have quietly managed central banks and global trade for 3 centuries, anonymity is the only luxury that matters. Think about it. You've heard of the double Irish or the Dutch sandwich. These sound like items on a menu, but they're actually sophisticated accounting bridges. They allow capital to teleport across borders without triggering a single cent in taxes. But the ghost portfolio goes much deeper than just skipping out on a tax bill. It's about the total legal separation of the self from the asset. Let's talk about a place most people think of as a quiet, boring state in the American Midwest, South Dakota. Most Americans have no idea that South Dakota has quietly become one of the most powerful tax havens on the face of the earth. Over the last few decades, lawmakers there have rewritten trust laws to allow for something called dynasty trusts. These are financial structures designed to last for centuries, literally forever. They allow a family to park billions of dollars in assets while legally claiming they own absolutely nothing. You cannot sue a ghost, you cannot tax a shadow, and you certainly cannot seize what doesn't exist on paper. This is the foundation of the ghost portfolio. Now, let's look at a real-world scenario. Imagine a man walking through the streets of London or New York. He looks like any other successful professional in a tailored suit. But let's look at the paper trail behind him. The penthouse he sleeps in is owned by a shell company in Panama. That company is owned by a private foundation in Liechtenstein. That foundation is managed by a law firm in Zurich that represents a client whose identity is protected by a private interest clause. This man effectively controls a portfolio of real estate, private jets, and fine art valued at over $9 billion. Yet, on his tax return, his income looks smaller than yours. He shops with credit cards issued by private banks in jurisdictions that don't share data with the outside world. He travels on a diplomatic passport from a small nation he has barely visited. This isn't a plot from a spy movie. This is the standard operating procedure for the upper echelon of the global elite. At this point, you might be feeling a sense of frustration. It feels like the game is rigged, doesn't it? But before we reveal the most dangerous part of this system, the connection between these portfolios and the central banks, I need you to do something very important. Information like this is rarely allowed to go viral on mainstream platforms because it challenges the very core of the financial status quo. If you believe that the rules should be the same for everyone, not just the people working 9-to-5 jobs, hit that rumble button right now. Your vote, your rumble, is the only way this investigation reaches the people who are tired of being kept in the dark. This platform is one of the last places where we can still speak the truth without a filter, and your support is what keeps us going. The ghost portfolio didn't just appear out of nowhere with the invention of digital banking. It has deep, dark roots. It started with the Medici in Italy, and it was perfected by the Rothschilds in the 19th century. There's a legendary story about the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. They say the Rothschilds used a private network of couriers to find out the outcome of the battle before the British government even knew it. They used that insider information to manipulate the market, crashing the price of stocks only to buy them back for pennies on the dollar. But the real genius wasn't just the profit, it was how they kept the profit off the books. They pioneered inter-family lending. If one branch of the family owed money to another branch, the debt was internal. To the tax collector, the family looked like they were struggling. In reality, the wealth never left the inner circle. It was the first modern ghost portfolio. Today, that 19th century strategy has evolved into something called the sovereign hedge. We are talking about trillions of dollars moving through dark pools and private ledgers. These are markets where the elite trade massive blocks of shares without moving the public price. When you see a sudden, unexplained drop in a stock or a massive surge that makes no sense, you're likely seeing the ripple effects of a ghost portfolio in motion. They operate with zero public oversight. They move more money in a single afternoon than the entire GDP of some European nations, and they do it all in total, absolute silence. Imagine a vault, but not one made of steel or concrete or guarded by men with guns. Imagine a vault made of legal jargon, jurisdictions, and nominee directors. This is the asset protection industry, a global network of elite fixers who ensure that once money enters the shadow world, it never leaves the family's control. They use people who get paid a few $1,000s a year just to sign their names to documents, making them the legal owners of billion-dollar empires. These people are just masks. Behind the masks, the true owners pull the strings from the comfort of a beach in St. Kitts or a private office in the Cook Islands. The complexity is the security. The system is designed to be a labyrinth. By the time a regulator traces a wire transfer through 5 different countries, the money has already been converted into physical gold, stored in a Swiss freeport, or moved into an encrypted digital asset that doesn't exist on any public server.
Now, let's go even deeper, into a place where financial power meets spiritual and political immunity. We have to talk about the Vatican, a sovereign entity with its own bank, its own laws, and its own secrets. For decades, the Institute for the Works of Religion has been whispered about as the ultimate ghost portfolio. Because the Vatican is a sovereign state, it doesn't answer to the banking laws of Italy or the European Union or the United States. It is essentially a financial black box. Billions of dollars move through this system, protected by the sanctity of the Church and the absolute sovereignty of the flag. This is the pinnacle of the shadow system, when wealth merges with a level of legal protection that no regular citizen could ever dream of. But the Vatican is just one example. There are dozens of sovereign pockets around the world, tiny territories with enormous legal leverage, serving as the silent guardians of the global elite's fortunes. Think about the freeports, places like the one in Geneva or Luxembourg. These are massive, high-security warehouses located in no man's land between borders. Inside these vaults, thousands of masterpieces by Picasso, Monet, and Da Vinci sit in crates, never seeing the light of day. Why? Because as long as the art stays inside the freeport, it hasn't technically entered the country. It hasn't triggered a tax. It can be sold from one billionaire to another without the painting ever moving an inch and without the government ever knowing a transaction took place. These are ghost portfolios made of canvas and oil, a way to store billions in value in a physical form that can be moved or hidden at a moment's notice. It's the ultimate hedge against a digital collapse. As we reach the final layers of this investigation, we have to ask the most important question. What happens to a world where the majority of real wealth is invisible? It creates what experts call a ghost economy. While you and I pay our coffee, our rent, and our taxes with tracked digital currency, the ghost economy operates on a different scale entirely. It inflates the price of housing in major cities like London, Miami, and New York because shell companies are buying up entire luxury blocks as a way to park their cash, often leaving those apartments empty for years. It distorts the stock market because dark pools allow the elite to trade massive volumes without ever moving the public price you see on your phone. It is a system designed to ensure that the rich stay rich, not through innovation or competition, but through concealment. But why now? Why is this becoming so much more common in 2026? It's because the elite are preparing for a shift. They know that the current financial system is reaching its limit. They see the debt, they see the inflation, and they see the social unrest. This is why the ghost portfolio is now being paired with physical survival. We are seeing a surge in what we call bunker equity. Billionaires from Silicon Valley to Wall Street are funneling their invisible wealth into massive underground estates in places like New Zealand or remote parts of the American West. These aren't just basements with canned food. They are $500 million subterranean palaces with self-sustaining ecosystems. They are moving their wealth out of the digital system and into land, gold, and survival infrastructure. They are preparing for a world where the banks might fail, but their ghost portfolios will remain intact. At this stage, you might be asking yourself, what can I even do about this? The first step, and the most powerful one, is awareness. The system relies on you being a spectator. It relies on you believing that the Forbes list is the whole truth. But by understanding the ghost portfolio, you stop being a passive observer and you start becoming aware of the invisible walls that have been built around the global economy. You start to see why certain laws are passed, why certain wars are funded, and why the rules always seem to apply to everyone except a very specific, very quiet group of people. Before we conclude this investigation, I want you to look at the rumble button one more time. Information like this is the only thing the elite truly fear. They don't fear taxes, they don't fear protests, they fear transparency. Every time you share a video like this, every time you vote it up, you are poking a hole in the veil of secrecy they have spent centuries weaving. This channel, The Rich and the Hidden, was created for one reason, to bring these shadows into the light. But we can't do it alone. We need a community of people who aren't afraid to look behind the curtain. In our next video, we are going to dive into the billionaire bunkers and the specific locations the elite have chosen for the Great Reset. We will show you the blueprints, the costs, and the secret contracts being signed right now by the most powerful people in tech. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you are subscribed, make sure your notifications are on, and make sure you've given this video a rumble to help it beat the censors. So, where does this leave you? The Ghost Portfolio is a reminder that there are two sets of rules, one for those who are governed and one for those who govern the capital. But knowledge, as they say, is the first step toward sovereignty. Once you see the system, you can never unsee it. You start to realize that the hidden part of the world is where the real decisions are made. I am the rich and the hidden, and this was the secret of the Ghost Portfolios. Until next time, keep your eyes on the data, keep your mind on the truth, and never, ever stop questioning the shadows. The world is much deeper than it looks, and we are just getting started. Take care of your own portfolio, keep your assets close, and stay vigilant. We will see you in the next chapter of the truth.